Trayvon Martin was wearing a hoodie the night he was shot and killed by George Zimmerman. Since his death, the hoodie has become a symbol of racial profiling, injustice, and even solidarity. Many Martin supporters are wearing hoodies to honor him. Miami Heat forward LeBron James even tweeted this photo of his NBA team. But Carol Swain feels black men wearing hoodies is a bad idea. She says it feeds into racial stereotypes. Carol's a law professor at Vanderbilt University, author of Be the People, herself a mother of 2 sons. Also with me, Judge Karen Mills Francis. She's the host of Judge Karen's Court. Guy Aoki is the founding president of Media Action Network for Asian Americans. Trent Copeland, a criminal defense attorney. Hope this is going to be a very lively conversation. Carol, your thoughts to start this conversation on the Miami Heat photo.
Well, the Miami Heat photo, I'm not sure the signal that they were trying to send. What I feel about the hoodie is that all of this encouragement from the black leaders for young black people to put on hoodies and march down the streets, I don't believe it gets at the real issues affecting the black community, and that it is only polarizing the situation. It's not the hoodie itself. The hoodie is appropriate in the gym, but to symbolize the death of Trayvon, I don't see a useful purpose coming from the way they're using it.
Karen, do you agree with the professor?
Well, you know, I don't even believe this case of Trayvon Martin had anything to do with the hoodie. This hoodie has come up after the fact. If we listen to Zimmerman's 911 call, he never mentions that there's a black man wearing a hoodie. We only hear about the hoodie when the officer asks, can you describe the person? I believe if Trayvon Martin had been walking down the street with a T-shirt and jeans that night in the rain, the same thing would have happened to him. So I think it's really unfair that this hoodie has somehow come to symbolize, I don't know, black pride, black freedom, whatever. He had the right to be wearing a hoodie, but my understanding from this professor is that she thinks that black boys shouldn't wear hoodies at all?
No, that's not it at all. The point I was trying to make about the hoodies is that our black leaders encouraging young people to put on hoodies, purchase Skittles, that it's really not serving a constructive purpose. It seems as if we're in a time warp of the 1960s, and I believe the problems affecting the black community call for new strategies, and we do have a problem with our black youth, especially the black males, and we need to be looking at ways to address those problems, not fanning the flames of racism. I know of lots of people who were white, who were sympathetic. They wanted an investigation, and as soon as Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and some of the race leaders came on the scene, all of a sudden the whites divided as far as they became defenders of Zimmerman when they were not defending him before, and all the blacks, became angry. And I don't see that serving a constructive purpose.
I agree with that.
I have a representative of the Asian American community at the table. I thought it was important to sort of broaden this conversation out. Do you think this is just a black-white issue, or Asians are rarely brought into this conversation, it seems like?
Well, I never really knew that wearing a hoodie was cause to be suspicious about someone, so this is like a new thing for me. I mean, Trent and I were talking before, and it wasn't something that either of us
see Trent in a hoodie.
Well, then I might be a little threatened. I don't know. But we never grew up worrying about putting on a hoodie. It's like, well, it's cold, we put it on.
Yeah, but Trent, that's what the hoodie became an issue for me, is when you talked about people looking at this. Look at this man. Give me a picture of Trent. This is not a scary man, and yet he walks in. Well, you're a little scary.
So, it can be scary, especially with a hoodie on.
When you walk into a Starbucks with a hoodie, people look at you differently. That stunned me. That was stunning.
We had that conversation. We had that conversation off air. We had the conversation on air. And look, it is still stunning that I have to share that conversation with friends. Yeah. And the reality is, look, I from time to time have to wear a hoodie. I'm out in the morning. I go out for a run, I'll go to a Starbucks, and I've got a hoodie on. It's a damp morning, it's misty out, it's raining, I have a hoodie on. And sometimes, whether I like it or not, there are people who find me to be somewhat suspicious, because I get the looks, and people recoil to an extent. And not every single person has that same view. But look, Professor, I would tell you that the hoodie isn't on trial. It's not the hoodie that's on trial. It's George Zimmerman who should be on trial. This is not an issue about whether black men should have.
Carol, go ahead.
As long as black men had the as long as we have the crime rates that we do in the black community, especially among our youth, and as long as they wear pants, you know, halfway down their butt, and hoodies, they fit into a stereotype. They appear to a lot of people as being dangerous, and that may be unfair. I think we should encourage our young people to carry themselves in such a way that they don't raise unnecessary suspicion.
You know what? I don't think we should get the focus. I don't think we should take the focus off of what this case is about. This case is about a young black boy. He wasn't in the middle of the hood. He wasn't crawling into somebody's window. He was simply walking home, and he happened to have on a hoodie. And I do agree that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton have somehow divided the races by bringing up this whole hoodie thing. They sell hoodies at baseball games. They sell hoodies at basketball games. They sell hoodies in the bookstore at my college in Maine. Harry Potter wore a hoodie. Monks wear hoodies. Your children in raincoats have hoods on them. My bathrobe has a hood. So I don't think this is an indictment of the hoodie. I think that they have created this issue. It's made this whole issue very racial, and it shouldn't be racial. The question is about right and wrong. Did the wrong thing happen to that 17-year-old boy that night?
The wrong thing happened to Treyvon.
Carol, I'm sorry. Carol, I got to take a break. We're going to come right back and keep this conversation going. Be with you in a sec. I'm back with my panel. We have limited time here. George, I want to go to you first. We were talking off the air about, we talked about the hoodie, obviously, but Asian Americans have had to withstand profiling, stereotyping, subconscious expectations, even about who you are, let alone what they're going to get from you.
Right. The problem is most people think of us as foreigners first. They're surprised if we speak good English. The problem we have is that when we have conflicts between the United States and Asian countries, people kind of take it out on us.
All Asians.
Yeah. You know, as if we have something to do with it. As a Japanese American, I was always frustrated that when Japan did something bad like bomb Pearl Harbor, you know, we got the flag.
Japanese Americans got the flag.
We got flag. We got 20 concentration camps.
My understanding is there were some auto workers actually killed. Was it a Chinese man?
Yeah. Because we're coming on the 30th anniversary of Vincent Chin, who was a Chinese American. He was killed by two white out-of-work auto workers who were mad that they were laid off from their jobs because the Japanese imports are doing so well. So
same thing. It's the same
baseball
thing.
Bat.
Because he did profile, the same thing.
It's about racial profiling, and we shouldn't forget that racial profiling exists. Look, the government did a study about racial profiling. It said that African American and minority men of color are twice as likely to be pulled over and asked whether or not they have drugs, and twice as less likely, remember that, twice as less likely, 50% less likely to have drugs than they would white Americans. And
that's
the truth.
interesting.
That's a statistic.
That's
and
fascinating.
it exists. And it really goes back to the issue of racial profiling exists, and it impacts all of us.
Carol and Karen, I want to join. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. But Carol, I want to go to you. I've got probably about a minute or so left. You grew up in poverty and thought you were destined to becoming a stereotype. Is that right? And if so, how did you beat that?
Well, I mean, I always believed in hard work and in America. And what I would like to say with my time now is that we need to change this conversation that we're sending the wrong signals to young people. We're not teaching them how to handle emotion and anger. And as a consequence, this Trayvon Martin tragedy is, you know, it is pushing us in the direction of a race war. No wonder Zimmerman is hiding.
Yeah, Carol, I hate to hear you say that. I don't believe that. I don't believe it in my heart that's going to happen. I don't believe this is going to let us unravel. First of all, Carol, by the way, go Commodores, by the way.
Thank you.
One will tell you why I know that. I've sat at many of your football games. But Karen, I want to go to last word for you. I've got about 30 seconds.
I think that we need to go back to what this whole issue is about. It's been a lot of grandstanding on the part of Al Sharpton and on the part of even these lawyers, I think, for Zimmerman. Everybody's trying to jump on the bandwagon and get their 15 minutes of fame. We cannot forget what this case is about. You know, we have the right to freedom of expression. We can wear mohawks, we can wear miniskirts, we can have piercings, and we can have hoodies. The Constitution guarantees us all that, even if it makes us uncomfortable.
Trent, last word.
I couldn't agree with him more. I mean, look, the guy who's at the Starbucks and who has the body piercings, he's got the hole in the nose. And look, he may look odd to me, but he has every right to be who he is, and I have no right to stereotype him and treat him differently as a result of it. And that really is what this case comes down to.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard, particularly the guy you described. It's hard not to treat somebody a certain way.
It's hard, but you know what?
But this is the time to examine that.
This is the time, and this is why we have this dialogue, and this dialogue has to continue. And I would disagree with the professor. I don't think we're going to, you know, this is going to devolve into something that is less important than what we have now.
I pray not.
This is, the conversation has to continue.
I got to go, guys. Thank you for this panel, for joining me. I want to thank you all for watching tonight. See you next time.